Hey guys, welcome to the video. On these videos, I talk through my rules one by one, talk about what the rule is, what it looks like to follow that rule, and what the consequence is if I don't. So on today's video, I'm going to be talking about a rule that comes from our respect category, and that is that I am not to interrupt Coda when he is talking. I used to have a really bad habit of interrupting Coda while he was talking. Even just 2 years ago, even a year ago, I had this habit of just kind of interjecting my thoughts, my opinions as they would come into my head. And it wasn't always at the most appropriate times. It was sometimes cutting off his sentence. Sometimes it was interrupting what he was saying to interject a detail or something that kind of popped into my head, something I forgot, something that I needed to let him know, but it was just at the wrong time. And it wasn't respectful. It wasn't something that was conducive of good communication. And it was something that just kind of really bugged him. And I completely understand when people interrupt me, I don't like it. So it makes total sense that he would want to place boundaries around me interrupting him. So what this looks like is that I need to make sure that he is done talking before I start. I need to kind of indicate to him that I have something that kind of popped into my head that I need to let him know so that he can create a natural pause in what he's saying and let me know when it's appropriate for me to tell him what came into my head. Sometimes, especially, and this happens a lot when we're having more in-depth conversations, I will wait until he's done and I will start, and I forgot what I was going to say. And I tell him that I'm like, I had something that I was going to tell you that I needed to kind of add to what you were saying, but I completely forgot. And he will give me, at that point, he's like, I'm giving you permission to interrupt me if you remember. Now, I never truly interrupt him, but if I remember, I'll be like, I'll make some sort of body language cue that allows him to cue in that, oh, I remembered. That way he can still finish off what he's saying. I don't truly just completely interject, but he's giving me permission to create a disruption in the flow of conversation to come back to that talking point if I remember. And it's all about just respecting him, respecting what he has to say, respecting his ideas, letting him lead the conversation as naturally as he leads our relationship. And so that's really what it's about. Now, there are interruptions that are unintentional and are more casual, and those really are kind of mistakes. Those are just not being intentional about not interrupting. But then there's the type of interruption where I am maybe doing it with more of an attitude. Maybe we are having more of a serious conversation and I want to defend myself, or I want to, interject with a defense or an argument against what he's telling me. And that would be a more serious infraction. That would be something that is more intentionally disrespectful rather than unintentionally disrespectful of just kind of interjecting because I'm excited or something popped into my head randomly and I want to share it. And so he definitely takes intention into consideration when he's holding accountability, because if I'm just excited about something or if I'm just not paying as close attention as I should, there might be times when he just brings that to my attention and he just gives me a verbal warning, letting me know, hey, you need to pay closer attention to this the first time. Sometimes it is a correction. Most of the time, though, it's an extended correction because he really does want me to be more intentional. He does want me to follow that rule. He wants me to develop the habit of not interrupting him. And it is something that he holds as important because it's something that just kind of bugs him, kind of irritates him. And so he doesn't want me to continue to develop the habit of interrupting him. And so he does hold accountability most of the time with extended correction. It is put into our book as an extended correction, but of course Coda can decide in the moment what he feels is most appropriate and necessary. However, if I am arguing with an attitude and I am interrupting because I don't agree with what he has to say, I don't want to hear what he has to say, that is more likely to become a punishment. Again, that is kind of up to Coda to decide in the moment, but that is more likely to become a punishment because there's more disrespect behind that. There's more intention behind that to not honor my head of household's position as the authority figure over me. And so he really does want to insert more of a consequence, more accountability to establish that that's completely unacceptable if that's what's happening. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you think down below. I would love to hear from you. Subscribe if you're not already. Think about doing that. And if you want to support the channel, ways to do that is linked in the description box for you. And we will talk to you next time.